All right, hello everyone. Yes, I'm Wax and Dax. This is another edition of No Filter Sports. See, we're no filter because I can say that. And with me today, back from wherever he is Tez of Chip Chat. Unfortunately, right now, Miss Kiki is dealing with her own off-field assignment, so we'll
Okay.
talk with her next month. By that time, it will be knee deep in football season. But we are talking about football, but the other side of football. It's the
Yeah.
Euro side or the Latin side. It's because they love to call it football and all that
Football.
stuff. Football. But before we talk about that, Tez, how have you been? How's been your summer?
So far, so good. We've had a decent amount of breaks on Chip Chat, so everybody knows that's my favorite thing, to take breaks and not work. And I assume there's like another summer break coming in August. So far, so good. And then obviously, if it's a World Cup summer, I mean, we were robbed of it the last World Cup, so we couldn't have that, right? Because it obviously was in Qatar, and it didn't feel the same.
And we had a, what did you say, winter break?
It was the holiday World Cup, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a holiday one.
And we might get it again with the Saudi one. So
yeah, again, we'll probably do that. So, but this, in the World Cup featuring obviously every 4 years, and some people find the summer to be not the most exciting sports time. I disagree, obviously, for a variety of reasons. Even like X Games, when I was really like, I really loved the X Games when I was a kid.
Yes.
Like I was good. Like I could get all the way back to football because I had like the Wimbledon or friggin' the U.S. Open, British Open, like golf, tennis, baseball. I'm good. But most people find, I think, the summer, right, the end of basketball. You're still waiting for American football, but the World Cup, obviously being the world's game, it just like it turns the summer on. I feel like anytime it occurs, and I just can think of like very like when it was in Brazil. I remember like having a really good summer. Like that was just a good. I find like sometimes the World Cup summers, they usually are like the most memorable, and I think this is another one. I think we're here again with it. So
yeah, it's memorable, all right. Not more ways than one. But before we get deep into that, one of the biggest news outside of soccer, football, is LeBron finally leaving the Lakers.
And, I thought you were going to go Lindsey Graham here, but I'm sorry. I remember.
No, that'll be for Tip Chat.
Okay.
So you say Lindsey Graham leaving the earth. Okay, that's a whole nother thing.
I didn't think you'd go LeBron here. Sorry, we're not on Chip Chat. We're on No Filter Sports. Sorry.
Yes. But yeah, LeBron James leaving the Lakers. I have my opinions about his 8 years there. What was your opinion about his time as a Laker?
You gotta say, I don't really have a word. I almost want to go with complicated, but I don't know if complicated is like the right adjective there. I mean, I guess if I talk it out, I'll figure out a word. But like, he gets the one championship. Say whatever you want. I know it's a bubble, whatever. I would argue the bubble basketball is the purest form of basketball I've ever seen. It was just pure like it was insane. I just thinking back to that, it was just really good basketball. He steps in to Los Angeles, right after after Kobe, and more importantly, like not after Kobe is passed away, right? So he's still there after that happens. I think it was successful for what he was trying to do, right? I think when he left Cleveland, he was like, all right, I want to go and kind of build this empire, this media empire. And I don't know if the media empire is successful, but I mean,
being Los Angeles in the area,
exactly. But yeah, being there. So, and right, this is the longest team he was ever with, right? I think this is it. This is the longest, so which is even weird. Yeah, which is weird, but like watching him is still amazing. Like, and he's still dominating the summer at 41 years old. And what are we going? Is this his 24th season?
25th, I think.
25th season? What are we? This is crazy. Like, so yeah, now I mean, I don't know what a one word is to sum his time up in Los Angeles. I lean to it to be a little complicated, at least specifically at the end. I think, and maybe just the variety of situations. I mean, luckily he gets that championship, so it just kind of puts everything else to rest. And I'm excited to see where he goes next because it's LeBron James. He's been so great for the league. I don't care. It's been great.
I have one word.
Uh-oh.
One word for his time in the Lakers. Overbearing.
Oh my God! But he's always overbearing. He's
get that.
his whole time in the.
I get that.
I'm going to hear this.
Yeah, but I felt like, and especially these last 3 to 4 years, you pressured the team to get your son, to draft your son. You made draft or trades that, again, try to fit his whatever image for to be presented out onto the court. I just felt like it, and everyone's saying it's like, is he, the main question has always been, is he really truly a Laker? No. Yeah. I just felt like when Shaq, surprisingly enough, when Shaq got onto being on the Lakers, somehow everyone got to embrace him. He became technically, even though he was there for like about 4 years or so, but they'll say it's like, yeah, he was part of the Magic, but yeah, he's a Laker. He's a true Laker. We'll don him as a Laker. I don't think
96 to what? He's from 96 to 2004, maybe. Yeah. That's a long time. So that's a long time there.
So, I mean, for that amount of time, but I felt like for Shaq, the ends braced him, everything and all that stuff, especially the bickering between him and Kobe, all that stuff. But for LeBron, it's like, I think the Lakers needed and wanted a superstar for this team, and they did get him. They got the superstar aspect of it, but I just felt like, again, through the years, you could tell it was deteriorating. That bubble era was BS. As much as everyone would say, it's like, oh, they won a championship, but I'm going to put, again, history note. If you look how the season was for the Lakers before the stoppage because of COVID, the Lakers were not going to be in the playoffs. Look it up.
Yeah, that's true.
They were horrible.
But once they're there,
once they had a good 2-month break and healed and be able to be indoors, for just to in a weird way be practice scrimmage games, because that's what it was.
No, I completely disagree with that. That is not like the bubble. That's a whole different show.
Let's be honest. You have the freaking Washington Wizards still qualified in the playoffs in that whole bubble tournament. Come on. The Wizards had a chance.
When we weaved out, like, all right, once you weave out like the foolishness of those first rounds and play-ins or whatever, when it gets to like each round of the playoffs in the bubble, it was competitive basketball. It wasn't like an all-star game. And the finals in general was like, that was a great finals. It was the Lakers versus Heat was incredibly good. That was a really good finals. Like, that's crazy. Forget the fans. Take the fans out of it. I completely disagree on that. The bubble was a good time. Bubble was a really good time. I'm sorry. I like
mention that to the 2K people so they can implement a bubble era segment. So
that is good. Take two. They should have that. Eventually, that is going to be a feature of the game. Like, if you pick teams from that year that there's no fans, it's played in like the Orlando and played in Disney World. They should definitely do. Actually, they have to have the feedback submission. That has to be part of it. If you pick teams in 2020, they don't play with fans and they only can play in Disneyland. I get why people don't like it, but back to your original point of LeBron is a Los Angeles Laker. One, because he's a superstar, right? And I just think no matter what, once you bring superstars to LA, they become Lakers. Will he have a statue? Probably, because they're giving statues out there. There's so many statues out there, right? And I mean, going like watching him live. I've only seen him play twice, but watching him live in Los Angeles, it felt like that was you could feel it, and it's like, oh, now he's an actual like Los Angeles Laker. He's not Kobe or friggin' Shaq, and it's gonna be a weird because LeBron is weird, right? His career is weird. So I just think I think a lot of the beef is less about even him about like, is he a Laker? But it's just more about LeBron, and he's just gonna have this unique career as like the God, why am I blanking on the word? Is it a missionary? No, not missionary. Is something else. What is the word? Why am I saying that? The
missionary man. That's it.
Not missionary. What is it when people mercenary? Excuse
Mercenary.
me. Meridians. Cut that one up. I'm gonna get butchered for that. But yeah, his mercenary status of him going to obviously Miami and then he goes to Cleveland, and then we're like, he goes to Los Angeles, and now we get to see where because we're not gonna have this one day. And we got to remember, this was going to be a good time. Like from Sports Illustrated, that St. Vincent St. Mary's game on ESPN to now, like, I just hope people enjoyed this time because it was really good. Like, this was just great basketball. He's incredible. Like, I mean, yes, he's old as shit, but like, how is he still doing this? It doesn't make any sense.
True. Let's say I'm not taking away his talent. I'm not taking away any of his accomplishments. I just personally feel like, he takes away the presence of the NBA medial presence I just feel like in a very awkward way than anybody else would. I mean, from the day he made quote unquote the decision from leaving,
a bad move.
Yeah, and even though he can say I regret it or not, I don't give a shit because it was stupid from the jump. And I felt like his ego has always been something that rubs me the wrong way. I never liked the fact of him, whining about getting calls and all that stuff. Like, in a weird way, his competitiveness is not matched to someone of like a Kobe. Let's say based off of the Lakers, era, it's not like a Kobe, it's not like a Magic, it's not even like a Kareem. It just felt like those three guys, they have that competitive desire to wanting to win. If things don't go the wrong way, they'll just like, okay, reconfigure, readjust, and just go, fight through it. LeBron, I just felt like he whined too much, complains too much. And I felt, even though again he'll give you a good 30 games here and there, maybe a good 20 plus here and there, and all that stuff. But there are times where it feels like, dude, are you showing up, or are you going to complain about a foul that was like 10 minutes ago? I don't get it. It just, to me, I as let's say, if I were a Laker fan, mind you, if this Kiki was here, she'll probably defend him from here to eternity.
But yes, because you like LeBron, yeah, but because you don't like LeBron. That's the other
right. I don't. I just felt like his. I know the NBA needed a face, for this, 2000 era or whatever. Yeah. I get it, but to me, it's like, I don't know. It's he's not for me. Mind you, I talk to a lot of younger guys, they say, oh, LeBron's the shit. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, compared to who? There's no, besides Steph Curry in this era, who else is he compared to? I mean, I just don't see it. And I just felt like
you're not going to like the people I name, but if we think back to the time, that there's a time where there were comparisons between like him and Dwight Howard, right? There are and like, as I'm saying, like, because if we go back and do the comparisons, you're just not gonna like, because Dwight Howard's really good. Like, I know people are gonna hate, like,
he's healthy.
Yeah, like when Orlando, Dwight Howard is crazy. You haven't really seen. You should really go back and watch that type of basketball. People were comparing those two, right? Obviously, I mean, Steph obviously is there, and I think Steph beat the respect out of us all, right, with his run. I think Durant has to be there as well, right? I
Right.
mean, he's there. Who else do we have in there? Carmelo was really good. Carmelo, that's part of his time. Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade.
But again, he ends up working with him. So he says like, can't beat him, wanna join him.
And I think that is why, again, like you come from the old school and you'll never like LeBron because you just don't like his get up. Like, because his get up is hard to because I lean more to where you're at, but I just can't. I can't turn off that like what I've witnessed, and I'm of like the LeBron like obviously I watched a decent amount of Jordan, but like I didn't watch Jordan come into the league like Kobe Bryant. Exactly. Yeah. But like Kobe is someone who I watch come into the league. Like a Shaq is somebody who I watch come into the league. Like those are the players, and then like obviously LeBron. Like, and that draft was insane. And just the sheer fact that he's still doing this to me is incredible. And I just, wherever he ends up next, I think it's just Miami, hopefully, is where it's at because that would be a good, and even Miami, LeBron, don't you remember that season? Whether you like the team or not, you tuned in every night because you wanted to see if they're gonna lose because there was so much hate watching going on there.
Yeah, it was. I was one of those people. That's like the finals. Yeah, I hated that team.
I know you were every night. Like I can't even explain. I can't even explain like ESPN during that time. Like it was driving news on sports. That's all we talked about for 3 seasons. I mean his time games played in Los Angeles, to your point, is suspect. I mean, 2018, 2019, 55 games, 2019 to 20, 67, 45, 2021, but clearly, like, that's coming into COVID. And I think is that the one where he gets the, what do you call it? The groin injury, maybe? 56, 56 in 21, 22. 55 in 22, 23, what did he do? 71 in 23, 24, and then 70, 24, 25, and then 60 last year. I mean, that's at the end. He got stronger at the end. 70, and 60. After like not making 60 games, besides that 20 season. I don't know. Like I find, I mean, like his stats there are still kind of really insane for that age, man. It's hard for me to sit here and be like, all right, like LeBron didn't really do it. But I mean, again, I understand folks just don't like his get up in general. He comes from like, I mean, right, he's raised in like, I don't say he's raised in the social media age, but I mean, kind of, right? He kind of, he's had weird stances. Like, you don't like the walking the line between like activists and then, the China stuff. I get it. He only reads the first pages of books. That's kind of corny. Like, I get why.
But Tip would say, reading is not fundamental.
Exactly. Sorry. But if you strip all that away, I mean, I find him to be, again, I see if I will always argue Jordan because Jordan is crazy. Like, it's hard to like for folks to comprehend watching those and just the way he didn't lose when it came like when it came down like crunch time. But if anybody argues LeBron for me, I would be like, okay, I get you. I'm not gonna push back too much because LeBron is like crazy, like in a different style. Like when it just comes to like complete basketball player, LeBron James is crazy, man, insane. Okay. So.
All right. Well, okay. LeBron, wherever you go. I think right now the teams I'm hearing is Boston, Houston, and Philly. Very weird places. Especially after what Boston did.
That's a whole different show. That's like I won't even entertain that right now because I don't.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. I am surprised Boston would even put that out there as a trade. I don't think any 2K player would put that out as a trade and accept it. It just doesn't make it to me. It's surprising. Surprisingly,
I mean,
makes sense.
Yeah,
and especially after a season that, mind you probably were a couple plays here and there away from trying to get to the next level or whatever, next round. But I mean, I don't know. And oh God, geez, going from purple to gold to green and white with that man, I'm
There's
going to
no way
remain.
there's no way he goes to Boston. There's no way.
I wouldn't put
There's
past.
no
I
way
wouldn't be
he
surprised.
goes.
I would not be
I
surprised.
will. I'll stamp that one here. And like I mean, even with the trade, like we think of Brad Stevens as a smart man. Like I find him like a smart person.
Mhm.
I think so. I just don't know Paul George.
Yeah.
Like what? And I mean, you gotta get rid of him once his name is floated with the Giannis rumors, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, or you could just gut it out and like have him go back out there next year. But I mean, once that started, I felt like he had to go. But yeah, I don't know. That's a weird move in the division, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's like yeah,
Yeah.
I have so
Well,
many thoughts. I have none. That's what
well,
I've
we'll
that
see
many.
how. Yeah, we'll see how that pops out in October. Well, anyway, I want to take a brief note to mention the fact if, I know a lot of people are not fully deep dive into women's sports, but I want to give a shout out to the Women Professional Baseball League. They are going to be starting their season in a matter of a few weeks, based off of our air taping. They put out their promotion of their new team names and uniforms, and it looks really amazing. We have the Boston Hunters, the New York Heights, the Los Angeles Queens, and the San Francisco Firebells. And surprisingly enough, they, with their social media presence, they mentioned that these names are not just random names or whatever. They are based off of women in history. So there is some significance for their team names. So it's really cool how they promoted that. And mind you, there's also other things that implement women's sports. Of course, the WNBA, somehow Congress wants to get involved. I want to ask you this: everybody wants to protect Caitlin Clark. I know she's a great player. I have my again. She's to me the LeBron of the WNBA, um, not in a good way.
Oh
And
God.
but Congress wants to get involved in protecting her in a sense because they feel like she's being bullied. Um,
This is crazy.
this is where I feel like okay, I understand you want to protect women's sports in some form or fashion, but this and a lot of the WNBA players, and the majority of them are white WNBA players. They're literally saying it's like she's playing, she's handling it. She really wants to say, "Can I just play? That's all I want to do. I just want to play." And but Congress, I don't know who's acting on this, saying they want to get involved. What I mean, what is this deal with Congress getting into sports now? What is going on here?
Um, Congress getting into sports, and I think just in general, the government's role around sports is because it's kind of like that final frontier of like one everything we usually all sit down and watch at the same time. And a lot of people want it to be the true representation of, I guess, what is it? Meritocracy, I guess. Right? Like it's supposed to be like the best player wins type shit. But yeah, I think they've always used, like I just was reading Kings and Pawns by Howard Bryant, which is just like about Paul Robeson and Jackie Robinson and like the friggin' what is it, the un-American committee shit and like people testifying. So like the government has always used sports to try to drive, I think, the agenda. So I don't think anything's new there. The Lily White lady, I mean, obviously also plays into this, like, right? Like that's a big piece of this. Um, against the backdrop of the Black League, the Black
Right,
Gay League. Like,
right,
I mean, that shit is pissing people off left and right. Yeah, and it's crazy because yeah, like the WNBA has been like, and let's start with like obviously Caitlin Clark is insane. She's amazing when it comes to
mm,
skill of playing basketball. She is like up there at like not between just like women, like obviously, but like men and women when it comes to playing basketball, right?
right,
We put that there. But the WNBA has been around for a long, at this point, I would say a long time.
30 years. Yeah,
30 years. It's been here a long time. And there were stars in the league like from the beginning, right? Like I can like when I was young, like the Lisa Leslie's or the Cheryl Swoops, like right, like there were stars in these leagues for years. Like, and who cares if the people paying attention to it? They were there, like, and I could see where the frustration is now of this one person kind of being almost considered the league when the league has kind of existed for a long time. And that league, especially when it comes to like physical contact and like, but it's always been like, at least from like my novice, like I'm not saying I'm watching every WNBA game, but when I've watched the games or been or attended games, it does always seem to be more physical. So that doesn't seem new either. And how long has she been in the league now? 3 years?
Yeah, it's their third year.
It's 3 year, right? Like, isn't that what veterans do? Isn't that what's supposed to happen in sports? And I thought that's why we like sports, right? It's supposed to be, all right, new person's here trying to take what a veteran has, and there should be a battle for that. And I think that's what's happening. And I mean, I know there's that one infamous because I forgot the woman's name who did it, but did she get suspended games for that? For the one, is it the choke? Is that like that infamous picture from maybe it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was some scuffle they had in the game. I don't know. And like I felt, but yeah, there's one.
Between the Fever and Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Where Sophia did the point. Yeah.
But like, isn't that what we want in sports? And just let them play. Like, let them play.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Let them play. I don't need Congress involved.
Yeah, I
so much other things going on.
I that they don't care about, which is kind of unfortunate. I just view that the fact is like when mind you, Caitlin Clark, I felt has, when I mentioned the fact it's like she's the LeBron of the WNBA, because I mean she doesn't play that the 3 years she has not played a full season. Keep that in mind. Her gameplay is pretty there, can be, she'll have a great game for like a couple of games here, and then it'll tell out because of the fact of, like you said, the defense is more strategic and battlesome for her to try to handle. So people can get used to her. And the thing is like, I think the narrative that everyone keeps putting out ever since her and Angela Reese met back in college and leading into here has always been this weird black and white issue. And it feels like, look, they want their great white hope in the WNBA. It is because they're not going to get in the NBA anymore unless they're from Europe somewhere, but they're not attaching themselves to it.
Nah, so they got Cooper, man. Cooper's next. Cooper might be it.
We'll see. But again, it's a fact that like I said, they're looking for that great white hope. And I'm like, look, she could be that. But the thing is she don't need this weird, federal protection that is not warranted for it. It's just a game. She's only playing for like 3-4 months at a time. And it's just like, come on. It's like, what are we doing here? It's just a game. She goes through her, her battles. She has her battle scars. Let her deal with it. I just don't understand for the government to come in and try to, whatever this is of this not just this administration, but just the mindset of where they need to get involved and try to change things that either the organization, mind you, right now is the WNBA, claims that it's like, this is just basketball to us. I don't know what you're seeing. And whatever congressperson is trying to say is like, we need to set a bill to where they stop beating up on our white players. And it's like, what is this? I'm not seeing this. I just don't get it. Because there's a lot more issues warranted that I felt like they could have fixed, like trade agreements and, the collective bargaining. That there is a whole bunch of issues that Congress could have gotten involved a long time ago, didn't. So you figure it's like, oh, they let the, leagues handle that. But this, I don't get it.
Look at this. I'm not, because I was unaware that this was going on. But yeah, a group of 11, this is reporting from ESPN, a group of 11 Republican lawmakers led by Representative August, I guess, Flunger. I don't know, has a P in the front. I assume that is silent. Pfluger, maybe, of Texas, sent a letter to the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, on Wednesday demanding the league take, quote, accountability for, quote, multiple attacks against Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. In the letter, Clark described as the, quote, face of your league and someone who has generated fan interest, increased television ratings, and new corporate sponsors. It suggests that third-year guard is on the receiving end of, quote, unnecessary physical hostility and violence, end quote, such as hip checking, eye poking, and recently being struck in the throat. The lawmakers said they are concerned by reports that, quote, attacks against Clark may be racially motivated. Jesus Christ. Quote, as a commissioner, you have an obligation to ensure that every player competes in a safe and professional environment, both on and off the court, free from violence, discrimination, or retaliation, end quote, the letter said. If, quote, if discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating a hostile work environment, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. If true, such conduct could constitute violations of federal civil rights laws. So again, we're here in this weird scenario of America where every law put in place to protect Black people is now coming back to destroy Black people. It's crazy. It's a weird world. Like, it's a weird fucking world. And I know they started this shit with like the 14th Amendment from the beginning, like corporations as a person, whatever. But now it's just gone crazy because they're using civil rights laws. They fire all the civil rights lawyers, and then the ones that are left are there now to go fight for white people. It is maddening. Now I can't do that because that'd be violence. But like, if I want more, I do want more. Not so much to Caitlin Clark, but just in general, like, shut up, Congress. Someone should hip check somebody in Congress. This August Flunger, whatever his name is. Pfluger. How do you say? I don't know. That sounds crazy.
Let AI figure that out. Maybe it'll stop, taking over the world.
I was like, yeah, maybe we'll. Pfluger. Yeah, August Pfluger. That's what
Pfluger. Okay.
Pfluger with a P. This is stupid. Racially motivated? No, I don't think any Black person in the WNBA despises Caitlin Clark for being white.
No.
And I think this is a bigger point in general of what my daddy used to tell me a long time ago. He said, I don't hate white folks because they white. I hate them because what they do. It has nothing to do with the color. All right. It could be any person. And yeah, that's clearly where we're at here. No one hates Caitlin Clark because she's white. And I don't think I don't even think they hate what she does. I don't think she, to me, from what I've seen, I don't think she carries herself. I think she carries herself with the right appropriate amount of confidence for a basketball player.
Yeah, I mean,
it gets matched, right? Yeah, that's what happens. Like, it should be, and it should be, because that's sports.
Right. So like I said, mind you, I know this is, everyone wanted that, try to build this rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and I felt like, they have something there. They have that bird magic type of, vision. I think the WNBA kind of wants, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, she still has to try to play these games. She still has to try to make Indiana Fever to be at least playoff contentions and stuff like that, which, these 3 years, they kind of building up to it. So I just, to me though, is like, I don't know where these, again, as you said, Republicans, people are watching, because I bet you they've never seen one single WNBA game anyway. Unless it's their daughter or whatever saying, "Mommy, Daddy, please, they're beating up on Caitlin. Can you stop it for us?" And it's like, I'll settle a bill for it. And it's like, what? It's ridiculous. Because even Caitlin Clark literally says, like, "Hey, I just want to play. Just don't worry about it. Obviously, it's like, I'll be fine. I take my bruises and I move on." So, we'll see. Well, as speaking of moving on, and speaking of people meddling into shit they shouldn't be, let's talk about soccer. The real soccer, real football.
I know you got thoughts. There's a lot.
Everybody got thoughts.
There's a lot going on.
I'm going to start with this. Like we said earlier, the World Cup is here. We've been enjoying the games. The games have been enjoyable. I give them that. I fell in love with Cabo Verde. I'm not saying Cape. I'm saying Cabo because that's their
Great story.
Yes.
Great
And
storylines.
the rumor mill is the goalkeeper. He's likely to probably be recruited by the Inter Miami FC. So, which is be interesting.
Why does he have
Uh,
like?
hmm?
No, I'm like, is he's the he's not the 40-year-old one, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
a
is, right? Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to work again. I heard he has like 20 million followers now.
Yes,
Like something like
it went
40.
I think like 200,000 to 2 billion after the first game.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. He's an influencer now. But
Yeah.
shout out again. But like, yes, what like again, great storyline. But yes,
Yeah.
I didn't see he's going to enter. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's been the thing now. Norway unfortunately had their run ended, but everyone's been feeling them. And we'll get to that later. There's again, I want to start with this. Can we admit to the fact that FIFA and the FIFA president is totally corrupt because based off of it being here and having the way everything's been organized, the way what I've been seeing, a lot of the, mind you, it's like Congress getting involved. It's just, we had a president who gets involved for a red card fraction, which makes no sense. We can start with how everything began. We had a referee who's from one of those banned nations that our administration doesn't want to allow in here. He has to have special, try to get special privilege just to, mind you, he's one of the top 5 referees in FIFA's class, and he couldn't be allowed to referee any American sites. He had to go over to Canada to do it, with special help. You've had a lot of people, fan bases from various, namely Iran, and namely, again, Haiti and things like that, not allowed to come here. Why? Because our administration wouldn't allow it. This World Cup to me is like, it's supposed to be every 4 years, supposed to be special and vibrant. And mind you, the U.S. has hosted before. This is the second time that multiple nations are able to host, because everyone remembers the first one was Korea and Japan. There's a question with that leading into next World Cup. But how do you feel about this year's World Cup based off of the imagery of not the games, but the stuff outside of the games?
I mean, it's terrible, right? But I know you want me to separate the games, but when I stopped thinking about all the terrible shit? When the game started. And that is why, it's a larger question, like agreeing that FIFA is corrupt. Yes, it has been. Like, do you remember our good buddy back in the day, Sepp Blatter? I'm the president now, president of everybody. I just, and let's just take and set aside FIFA being corrupt. You now combined it with the most corrupt nation at this point, right? Which is the United States, right? Mm-hmm. Corrupt administration. Yeah. And especially a sporting tournament that really celebrates immigrants, right? No matter where it's held, it is a celebration of immigrants, because now we are asking the world to come into our house, wherever the proverbial wherever it might be. And everything we're doing, like Stephen Miller's anti-World Cup, okay? Like it's just like this administration is anti-World Cup until they're not. I'm sure we'll get to that. And yeah, it's really bad. Like, but here's the problem. Me and you will remember that, but I don't think we will put an asterisk by this actual World Cup. I think the games have been way too compelling. The storylines, like Fox, and they've done a good job. Like, they've given us friggin' Rebecca Lowe and fucking Thierry Henry and friggin' Zlatan. They've given us shit, and like they've been able to weave that through where I just don't think the lasting memory will be of the ref that couldn't come here. And we should think about that, right? Like, because that's huge. Like, right? A ref couldn't get to the country. Or wasn't it even with Iran, then they had to leave. Then they couldn't. There's rules.
They could not. They couldn't stay after they had they played a game because they were. It's the weirdest thing. When their pool was picked, their majority of their pool games were played in the U.S. They were told and pretty much forced to go to Mexico to train. And every time they played a game, wherever they were at, in their pool, USO, they immediately had to go back to Mexico immediately. And it's like, this is horrible to me.
It's
and
bad.
And then on top of that, mind you, it is the stuff that is affecting the players. Talk about the fans in the cities. The fans, the prices are ridiculous. Based off of like these ticket prices that I'm looking here. Here's the thing: compared to the last World Cup, mind you, a lot of the price. This was in Qatar, and not a lot of people would spend that much. The lowest price, let's say, opening match, was in a category 4 was $55, and the most highest was $618. For this year's price, the lowest category 4 was $560.
And you're at the top of the stadium.
Yes, category 1 is $2,735. And that's for the opening match. When you compare to right now where we're at, we're in these, the semifinals round. So this year, it is category 4 is $455. The last World Cup was $137. And for the category 1, $2,780 for this year. The last World Cup was only $956. Now, mind you, unless I view this as, this is where I feel FIFA has corrupted itself, especially with the current president who thinks he's soon to be a James Bond villain. He just, everything that has I've worked with FIFA before, and mind you, certain people, not them directly, they do take over. Literally, it is like, this is our event, this is what we're doing. Take it or leave it type of stuff. But the things they do, I just feels like it and we try to accept this doesn't make sense. Because one of the things, if you're not fully aware of this, there is a Dallas mural artist who's suing them because FIFA, for whatever reason, painted over his mural that he did for that's been up there for like a good 15 years now. Painted it over, not fully, because the thing is, it was supposed to block off whatever they were trying to promote and put up a the World Cup sign on there,
right?
Paint up a new World Cup, the logo and all this stuff. And it's like they stopped it because, again, the injunction came in. It's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And the funny part was, there is a building that had an empty slate, brick wall they could have painted over and did over there, but they did it on this mural. And the guy's like, "Are you kidding me?" He put his heart and soul onto this. You had, like you saw, with a lot of stadiums, they had to cover up their, branding stadiums, like Levi's Field or Levi's
because you
Stadium.
can't,
because we're not partners with them.
Those contracts are so lucrative.
Yeah.
For this event that there's no like wiggle room on that. Like, yes, but you're correct.
But my question would be is this, because FIFA is trying because here's where we're getting at. One, we've had the Club World Cup here in the US.
Yep.
We've now had the World Cup here. They are going to try to pitch the women's here I think in 35. They're trying to get the Club World Cup back here in 29. The thing is, the way I view it is like, in the next, let's say for the next 20 years, do you see FIFA trying so hard to link up with American businesses to stay afloat? because the way I feel is like, because if you're trying to make this as the world game, but why is it that you pretty much, because most of the sponsors I'm seeing are American based sponsors. So and so I feel like it's like, okay, why can't you get other international sponsors to coming, to feed into this? What's going on here?
I mean, yes, I think one, it's just like consumerism in America is just completely different. So I think like there's by nature, right? Some of the bigger brands are American brands. I'm interested to see like the sponsor list now of that. Because I mean, you kind of have a good point. So this is like directly from FIFA and their commercial sponsorships. Who do they got on here? Usually, I should get a nice little picture of all these. Oh, there it is. So like Aramco, like that's international. That's very funny. What else do we have here? But yes, you're right. Like Dove, like Lay's, DoorDash, like what else do we have? Salesforce, the Home Depot, Marriott. I'm interested now. I'm trying to like obviously the international ones, like Qatar Airways is one. What is this ADI? I don't know who ADI is. No, I don't want your cookies. And why do I have to say I'm 18 years old? I don't know if I should go to this. I don't know.
What's going on?
I need an adult. Excuse me. I need an adult. Bank of America, Michelob Ultra. What's Diego? Great to see you. Okay, so this is some type of drink. A tequila? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think they own all of the tequilas. I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it is a bunch of American. It is, to your point, it's a huge amount of American sponsorship. But yeah, like I don't know, like I guess the question more is like I'm trying to think of like what is a reputable like international brand that would be on there, like, should I see Cadbury, like the chocolate makers? Like, is that what you? I mean, I know that's not really where you're going with this, but like, is that like you want to see from other countries sponsorships that represent the world? Is what it is?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you're never getting that. you're never getting that. Come on, man. Like,
well, let me go. Let's say back to what I initially mentioned the fact about, especially with the Dallas mural artists. Do you feel like nations, when FIFA does show up, do they really have to give up everything to present this? I mean, should they, I mean, to me, I felt like it's just like, I understand it for a nation who's, I've always said it's like the Olympics and the World Cup, keep it out of here. I mean, we'll take it once, but keep us, don't talk to us for the next 10, 20 years. We don't need us every time, because I feel like now because we have to give up a lot, to present something that will only last for like about a month or between 2 weeks to a month. I mean, do you feel like for other nations, I think will fully benefit more, how I see it, unless they can financially can stabilize that. Do you agree with that or no?
I mean, you have to give it up because it's similar to the deal with building a new stadium in your whatever local municipality, right? Like, let's just take the Commanders and the Commies new stadium. You have to give, because the idea is, and I don't really believe in trickle down at all, but the idea is that you give these tax breaks, or in this case, you give up your city. Now, I don't think you should be painting over fucking murals. All right, let's start there. Like, that shouldn't be happening. But you give this up because who was it? Was it not that I was gonna say the Spartan Army. What are they called? The Tottenham. What were those people? What were the folks that what are the Tottenham Army? What is what are the Scots that were going around everywhere and drinking their bars? What is the army? I'm blanking on the name of it. What was it? I forgot. I'm blanking on
it. I know who you're talking about. Okay, yeah, because they're not tipping and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, but even more, they were but they weren't tipping, but they were spending so much money. And I think that's it. If you look, like, I know a few folks who work in the industry own bars, and they just are talking about how the numbers they were doing on World Cup days was more than they would do sometimes in like a weekend, right?
Right.
And I think that is kind of that's what they're gonna push. They're gonna be like, we're bringing you this cash cow, right? But we own your farm. While we're gonna bring you the golden cow or the golden goose. There's no such thing as a golden cow. We're gonna bring you the gold. That's some real American shit there. The golden cow. I don't know what is happening to me.
Yes.
But yeah, we're gonna bring you this golden goose, right? And we'll bring it to your farm. But when we bring it to your farm for 30 days, we now control the farm. We're putting our names on everything. Just everything is ours for these 30 days because we are making this deal that you will reap, the area around you will reap the huge benefits of just the singular event. Like the Olympics doesn't do this. It doesn't. The Olympics is close, but it doesn't. I don't even say it's close. Like I would say friggin' Champions League final is closer than the Olympics for creating the same type of like energy, right? Or even like the Euros, right? I would say UEFA Euros, maybe that is probably a bigger draw. It's a different tournament. It's not just obviously the World Cup. But yeah, it is a singular event that brings so much commerce to wherever it's at. That I think that is the deal you end up making. Doesn't make it right. But yeah, I think that is the deal you have to end up making. And no one can control this body. And like, I guess if it gets out of control, the one thing we do know, as we've seen with kind of like backlash to the Super League and like even in general, how whether like just world football fans bases, they don't get jerked the same way fan bases in America get jerked. When it comes to ticket sales, like they're looking at us like we're like basically an impoverished nation when it comes to like sporting events. Like I'm just thinking back to the Super Club when was it? Well, not the Super Club. What the hell they were going to call it? They were going to call it when they were going to get all those leagues together, and it was going to make what I forgot the hell it was called, but. The fan bases is of those nations of the club. I'm sorry, nations of the clubs were the ones who like stopped that. And I think you see fan bases in the soccer community around the world. I think their voice is stronger. And I say all that to say is that if people wanted to change things in FIFA, it would probably either have to look like some type of EU regulation, because I believe they're definitely based in Europe, and or you would have to see the fan base have a backlash, and I don't see that. I think everybody will push aside the like atrocities that might happen from slaves building stadiums in desert heat or TPS status, right, being stripped from people and they are not able to come into this country, they have to leave the country, or immigration policy that doesn't allow them to watch the games, or immigration policy that doesn't allow whether it's fans to travel from other countries or refs, or again affecting the teams. I think everybody pushes that to the side because they do want to actually participate, to watch, to enjoy just a unique sporting event, which I'm not saying that's right. Again, I think that's the truth of the matter.
Right. Well, I want to go back to something I mentioned before. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico is the second, you can say, conglomerate group to host a World Cup. The first I mentioned was Korea and Japan doing it. Next year or next World Cup, it'll be
crazy.
6 nations.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're doing this weird shit. This is some weird FIFA shit so that they can get it. It's a weird reason they're doing this.
Yes. So, mind you, the next World Cup is supposed to be the 100th anniversary of World Cup, and Uruguay was initially supposed to just host it, but then they add the fact that you have in 2 other Latin nations. I believe the other is, what was it, Colombia? I'm trying to look for it. But I know the other side, because it's going to be 3 sets over on, here in South America, and then the
Uruguay,
other 3 will be
Argentina, and Paraguay.
Yeah. So, and then on the other side, it's Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. And I'm like, okay, so how are we splitting this? Because I think that like the first week will be over in South America, and then everything else will be held over in your, where Spain, Portugal, and Morocco is. And I just felt like, is this too much? I mean, I'm okay with one nation hosting it, but having several, unless, I mean, I don't know what, because mind you, I believe this is the second World Cup where they expanded the team roster, meaning the team acceptance, because it went from 32 to 48.
Right,
And
which I think is smart. I think that is actually,
it made it a lot more interesting because you got more teams going into the knockout rounds, especially a lot more African teams. Sorry, Italy. So I just feel like, but do you think that now, if you're expanding more multiple host cities or host nations, are you anticipating FIFA to expand more teams coming in,
no, this
especially
is
giving
more.
Italy a chance to come into play?
No, this is more corrupt behavior by FIFA, because what the idea, and this is just from what reporting I've heard on this, and I'm pretty sure I was listening to this on like Men in Blazers, but the idea behind this is you get it on the 3 continents, right, of Europe, Africa, and South America, so that you pave the way for the Saudi Arabian one, right? Because then you say that there's less, like the idea from what I've heard is that there's less chances of the bids going out for that. And then it's like, hey, y'all, we kind of gave y'all this in 2030. Like, let us do what we want to do for Saudi Arabia. And I think that is kind of the big play for this. I think because that's how you kind of can assuage these other nations. And like, I think you will probably continue to see this as that mechanism whenever they have a place they really want to host it at, for whatever reason, like obviously monetary reasons. But yeah, I think that's more so the play. It is weird. Like, that's just weird. Especially it not being like across, I know it's the World Cup, but it's across the world is a weird thing. I guess Morocco, Spain, Portugal, I guess that kind of, it's a little, it's a weird, like, yeah, it's kind of in the sector, that's kind of in the.
Yeah, kind of. But I feel like, because you're kind of mentioning that, because I know for well that FIFA wants to try to, like, for every host nation, once, like, they want to be in a different part of the different continent for, they'll give them time. So like for these next upcoming ones, so you already have the South America set up, that's taken care of. You're already taking care of Europe and Africa a little bit. And then going into 38 will be Saudi, so Asia's taken out. So again, like we said, it goes right back to North America, which we're right back to America again. And I felt like, okay, that's F up, because to me, this is like, okay, I just viewed it as like, okay, you knocked out all the, mind you, there's 7 continents, so unless you make some special bubble situation in Antarctica, is there some representative in Antarctica I don't know about? But I just feel like trying to represent all these, continents in a sense, just to try to quickly get back to America. I think, like you said, I think there's some shady stuff going on.
Yeah,
because I really think it's kind of unfortunate that you had America hosting it, but hosting up with their North American neighbors, but really it was like it wasn't there really there. I felt like it's like it could, because initially I think it was Mexico supposed to fully host this, not America itself, but America sort of like took the nod. And and again, people is like, yeah, we can come back to America and all that stuff. And since we're doing the club, like you said, you just did the Club World Cup, so why are you doing this back to back? That I never understood. So, but
no, and here it is here because with Qatar hosting 2022, right? Asia would ordinarily had to wait to 2042 to host another World Cup under like these terms, like this confederation rotation. But the decision to stage the 2030 tournament across 3 confederations, UEFA, CAF, and what is it, CONMEBOL, they suddenly pushed the Oceania and Asia to the front line. So yeah, it's again, these are all like weird backroom deals and smoke-filled rooms that people are making to make a lot of money. And I guess you're saying you expect the World Cup back here in 40
or later, maybe 50
or later, 40. Like, yeah.
So
Okay.
I would wait. I mean, it's like I mind you, I'll be an old man, but I can wait.
I think it was so successful here, and I think now, especially with the world seeing that, like, we just do stadiums a little better than everybody. Like, that's why it'll be back here soon. I think the world, right? Our infrastructure is built for this. Like, we do have great infrastructure, and this is the stadiums they picked this time. You could pick a bunch different. You could pick other places to do this. And I thought, I honestly thought Mexico probably had the best, like, when it comes to like actual matches, and like obviously Azteca. But yeah, nah, it's an interesting point. But yeah, I mean, it's FIFA always up to some shit.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk about the game shortly, but I want to talk about one other thing that's been really weird. And it's connection to the games. It's the managers of the game, meaning the coaches, the head coaches, the managers. Is this a stressful job? Because you had, I think I'm looking at the numbers here. One got fired the day after the first game, which was the Tanzania one, Sabri Lamucci. Everybody else quit. So Steve Clark for Scotland, Hong Myung-woo from South Korea, Miroslav, again, I'm having problems. Kobiek from the Czech, Marcelo Bizila from Uruguay, Roland Koolman from Netherlands. He was the top tier guy because he was really pissed off about everything there. Sebastian Biekowski from I think it was Ecuador, and so on and so on and so on. The surprising one was Julian from Germany. He quit. And let's see, Javier Aguirre from Mexico. He quit. Roberto Martinez from Portugal. He quit. These guys haven't. I imagine you built 4 years to train these guys, manage these guys. Pick the right guys to fit this mold to get this stage, and then you either get fired or you quit after a certain whatever aspects happens to your team. Is it really that stressful being a World Cup coach? Or just mind you, it's a national team coach, but mainly this team, this coach, this manager is set to lead this team to a World Cup title.
I just wonder, like, obviously I can't speak to it, but I just wonder that you're prepping for this event every 4 years, and then that if you don't get to a certain point, that you have a short leash. Like, and I just think, you're just like, I think because again, you need to get someone new in there. Or the idea probably is that you get someone new in there to change mindset. And now we're building again for the next 4 years to do this. Not to say obviously these coaches don't leave in the middle of the 4 years from time to time, but I'm wondering if that's more. It's just like, okay, because I don't know the history of, I guess, coaches who have been there like through multiple World Cups, but I assume that that's usually due with success in the World Cup. Like, I would almost put my money on that. And I just think if you don't reach it, like if you don't even make the knockout stage, your job is probably on the line. And I think that's how I see it mostly. It's like, like we need new ideas in here because we need to prep now 4 years from now to try to actually get back, qualify, and hopefully go further than we did whenever we were in it. So,
but then, okay, do you feel like in this aspect, is it really the coach's fault, or is it, the players that you bring in here? Because most of these guys, I mean, especially the most notable, especially Germany's. I mean, mind you, Germany was deemed favorite, one of the favorites to get here, and as well as the Netherlands. But I felt like their gameplay in the knockout rounds were kind of in question. I always try to give the Netherlands a shot, because they've been bridesmaid a few times more than they wanted to be. But I just feel like this year, maybe it's like, okay, it felt like this year's World Cup is pretty more wide open than a lot of people anticipated. But do you think that, like you said, do you feel like the pressure of trying to get to at least the knockout stage was too much for them?
Yeah, I mean, because then you wonder how these decisions are made, and I assume like there are some that are quit, right? But also some are just getting like specifically fired. I also think this is in the actual game itself, right? Because if you think about, like, I just use the Premier League, what I watch, like, you get these run of losses and you sack the manager, right? Like, that's kind of what you do. And I think that's more of a cultural thing in world football. And I think it just bleeds into the World Cup as well. And it just had a higher magnitude because, like, this is a national team. They're playing qualifiers. It's not every day that this, or like every week that it's happening. It's spread out in between like international breaks. And then you make it to the World Cup, and then your goal, like, if you don't win it, it isn't really successful, right? Like, I guess, like, I mean, for some teams, it's like, oh, we made it, but for like a Germany, right? It wasn't a successful World Cup if you didn't win it, right? I think. Yeah, Brazil, it wasn't a successful World Cup if you didn't win it. Like those, I think you have teams like that. I mean, I was going to say Italy, but where have they been? We haven't seen them in a long time. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I mean, does the job? I would lean to think the job drives people out as well, because you are trying to bring together a team that is playing across the world. You're having them at short periods of time to try to create some cohesiveness. And that seems very stressful, like, in general.
Yeah, I think so too. My surprise though was the Tanzanian Lamucci getting fired after just the first game. I mean, it's just like I would have waited till just waited till after the group stage ended, and then you would have sealed his fate. But after the just think the aspect after you lose, then you get the call for the federation saying you're out. I'm like, dude, I just got
you got to pay for your flight home.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I mean, it's sad, and then you have Young Go, who pretty much is in exile now. I heard that he's came over here to hide. And I was like, damn, is it that really intense? To
the rest of the world cares. Yeah, they care a lot.
I mean, now I know why the Americans can't do shit. So because
we don't care like that. Yeah, we don't care like that.
We only care when we see like you're winning, and then by the time you lose, you're just like, oh, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see you next. Hopefully, we'll see you next 4 years.
Yes, hopefully. But we got the women next, so at least they're winning.
Exactly, the real champions.
So, which is kind of funny because it's kind of funny during this time frame. I see a lot of people wearing the women's World Cup, patch because a lot of people get confused. It's like if you ask them, it's like it's like you're going to see the World Cup game, right? And it's like, yeah, but that's not until next year. It's like, what are you talking about? Because that's the women's jersey you're wearing. And it's like because they don't realize the fact the women has the 4 stars, not the men. So, but that depends on who you ask. But there are probably some people who knows what's really going on, and there's probably majority of them who don't.
Exactly.
But anyway, anywho. Speaking of those who are winners, we're in the final 4 of the World Cup, the men's World Cup.
Crazy.
The top 4 teams this is the first time ever the top 4 teams in FIFA ranking are in the final 4.
All chalk.
Yeah. Based off of how things got here, I'm not happy.
Of course you're not.
It's mind you, Argentina is, I would say, let's say in how we look in the NFL, they are the new Patriots, Chiefs, this new image team that they want to present to us. And it's like, I understand you want to give us Messi. Messi got his golden thing. He got the team to get its 3rd star. I get it. But you presenting us this makes it, again, adding on to the fact is like FIFA is some shit. And because you had 2 teams who could have knocked them out right off the jump. And mind you can say, hey, all they had to do was continue playing and they could have scored some goals. But How can you score some goals and keep taking away over some bullshit that just didn't make any sense? How do you feel like the gameplay among these Final Four teams have been? How do you feel like each team, Spain, Argentina, England, and France, do you feel each game they warranted to be in these Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, because no matter where, like the calls that have been made, I think you can always put those into question. But the talent on the field for all four of these teams is kind of insane, right? Like the French team, obviously, by way of colonialism, is incredible, right? Like it's just like it's insane. Obviously, like with Messi's run in Argentina, like it's the way they've come back to win these games is just kind of been really insane. And like what I really wanted to see clearly was going to be Colombia, Argentina. That was what I was rooting for. Similar, I mean, like Spain is has Spain, yeah, like up until what? Up until against Belgium, that was the first goal they gave up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when it comes to the actual like footy on the pitch, like yes. Now the other stuff, obviously. I mean, oh, and I forgot to mention my beloved England, right? Of how how they scratched and clawed back, and like Harry Kane is. I don't. It pains me to say that, but Harry Kane is that guy. But yeah, I do think they do warrant being there, and I think like we could say arguably that France, Argentina from the last World Cup, that final was like one of the better sporting events we've ever watched. Like that's like it's up there. That was a really good final. And some might say that the final, like I mean, France and Spain, I think on Tuesday will be really good. I think we should expect these games. England's the one I think that might I think that's the one. If anybody shits the bed, it might be them. But I do think we should expect the last four right here, the semifinals to actually be entertaining football. And I do agree that these teams are here because they didn't lose, right? They didn't lose when it mattered. And they were able to scrape out really interesting victories a lot of the times. Again, some of these teams being down in like, I forgot how many minutes Argentina made that insane comeback. But like, what am I supposed to say with that? Like, yeah, you belong there.
All right. So with that being said, who is the final two and who's winning?
Prediction time, right? I am gonna go out on a limb here and say France is in the final.
Okay.
Big limb. And then I'm also going to say, so yeah, them obviously beating Spain. I'm also going to pick England beating Argentina and then losing to the French in the final. That's where I think it's gonna be. That sounds crazy picking against Messi for what he's done this whole freaking tournament, but I do think that's gonna happen.
Okay.
What you got?
I'm trying to figure this out. I would like Argentina to lose to England. I would like it. I would love it. I would love it. Because mind you, they England hasn't won, and they'll be their second star in 60 years. It'll be kind of like something that England's been trying to get, especially winning on the colonies.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a crazy storyline there, and the only people that might be able to protect us is the French once again.
Yeah. I would like it. I want it to be Spain and England, but I don't think it's going to happen because Spain is to me, before they got their first star, they were everyone could call them the Cubs of the World Cup because everyone loved them. They wanted them to win, but finally they got it, and they're one of the top four teams. Um, I think this is going to be a French Revolution, French Indian War type of situation. I think it'll be France and England. That's
Yeah.
how I would like it, and I think I'm going to give the Three Lions a chance. I'm going to say they'll
Wow.
take it.
You're picking
I,
them?
I
I don't
want. I
ever
want.
pick them to win.
I think Nepi. I mean, he's been phenomenal this entire tournament. I think England will try to figure him out and everybody else. And my Jaguars worry about Kane, but I think England really does have some very talented young players
Yes.
that has helped complement Kane and really excelled in especially these last during the quarterfinals and I'm going to say semifinals, but since based off of taping, at least the round of 16 and the quarterfinals, it really helped them scale to where they are now. So things could change by the time you guys see this show.
Right.
But where I see it, yeah, I'm going France, England, and I'm giving the Three Lions their second star. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, France is just too good. And I want England to win until the end when they lose. I'm rooting for them to win enough that they actually lose at the end. And that would be but the thing is, the Knicks did win the NBA finals, y'all. So maybe this is the year for long droughts to be ended, and the rains will spread the water over the dry plains or the dusty, mill towns that are rotting in England everywhere outside of London. Because as we mentioned on Chip Chat, it's poorer than Mississippi.
Yes.
Crazy. It's a whole nation. But no, and look, if England does win and you see me walking around in the England kit, don't ask me any questions, okay? No, don't ask me any questions. I used to have there was a time where I would wear them all the time. I had my Umbro kits from yesteryear, and I have a few of those sitting around. But if you do see me with a nice fresh Nike one, after they win everything, and it comes home, and it's always coming home. Why are there 3 lions? There's no lions in England.
That's a weird thing. Yeah,
it's weird as hell. 3 lions.
Well, all right. So thank you, Tez, for being on it. But before we go, we always play a game, nice little fun game.
Yes.
So nice little trivia game here. So and it's World Cup base. And so the question is simply enough. Since the US, Canada, and Mexico all got knocked out, they cannot be among 6 nations to host a World Cup and win it all on their home floor or their homeland. Can you name those 6 nations who did that?
So England is 1.
That's 1. 66.
That's 1. 66. Has Germany won at home?
1974.
Okay.
Shit. They were then West Germany.
Excuse me, West Germany. Who else could have won at home?
I just mentioned it earlier.
You mentioned earlier Spain?
Nope.
No. At home. Shit, I only have 2 so far. God, who's gonna who? God, I don't know. I'm not quick enough to get the winners on this of the winners of the World Cups that I'm going through these in my head right now. Hold on. The French.
Yep, they were the last. 98.
Yeah, what am I talking about? I should know that one. I was like, of course,
yeah. They were the last crazy. One to do it. Yep.
Okay. So that's 3. One there. Who else? Thinking of winners. Argentina never went at home. No.
1978. They won it.
That was at home. That was at home.
That was at home.
Okay. Look. All right. So
We got two more.
we got two more. All right. All right.
And that was the 1 year they got their first star.
Okay. All right. The first star. Okay, that makes sense there. Has Brazil? No, I only think of Brazil getting smoked at home. I don't ever think of them winning at home. They won at home.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Making my way around the world. Hold on. Italy?
That's another 1934.
Okay, 34. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, the second World Cup. So yeah,
I just threw that one out there. I was like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. All right. So I have one more left.
One more, and like I said, I already mentioned it.
You've already mentioned this one. What do we got left here? Who's one? Making my way around the world again. Hold on. They've got to be in Europe, right?
Could be.
Oh, I'm not even getting any hints.
I already mentioned it. That's the thing. I already mentioned it. So got to rewind the show to find out.
Rewind the show in my head. Yeah, that's I don't know, man. My brain's shutting off. Why am I missing this one? Who's the last one that went at home?
I give you 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. Answer.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I'm blanking on winners at this point now.
Right. A lot of people, like I said earlier, when we were talking about the multiple host nations, and 1990. I mean, the next World Cup will be the 100th anniversary. So the team who's hosting this year's or the next World Cup won the first World Cup, Uruguay.
Yo, wow.
So that's why they're going back to Uruguay to do the 100th anniversary.
Celebrated. God, how did I get that? I'm not paying attention.
So Uruguay in 1930, Italy 1934, England in 66, West Germany 74, 78 was Argentina, and the last host nation to win it all was France in 1998. Which was, if anyone who ever saw that matchup, that was, I mean, everything was shaking. Everybody was feeling that one. So because France just pretty much put themselves on the world soccer stage in that tournament. So, but anyway, all right, Tez, thank you again for being with us. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky DC Cortez. Actually, I'm back on Instagram, so you can find me at Ketchum Corday on there. I'm usually laughing at funny shit that you send me.
Yes,
we definitely need to do a segment where I just react to these. I like without seeing them. You're just like, all right, a segment where I react to these videos that you send because some of them are crazy.
Yes,
insane.
So, if you haven't seen under there, where you can find me on No Filter Sports, Miss Kiki. Again, she's out on assignment. She would like to apologize to you, Tez, for not being here, but she sends all the love and thanks you for being on. And
of course.
So, but anyway,
I miss her. I have not seen her in a while.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you could try to come on Real Talk Uncensored Monday nights from 7 till probably 10. You can just pop in and spew out some stuff. So
I should start branching out, popping up on these shows,
Yeah.
But that does require doing more work.
Yes.
That's true. It does require doing more work, and everybody knows they know that I'm anti-work. If anybody knows anything about this, some people are anti-labor. I'm anti-work. Anti-work. I don't want to work.
That'll be an interesting part.
As I say that on a Sunday night drink.
Yes. So speaking of which, let's chill on that note, and we'll see you next time when By that time, we'll be knee deep in real football, as everyone would like to say. So
It's not knee deep. Well, you're a month away. You'll be in.
I'm a monthly show, so hey,
Yeah,
I don't
you'll
do a lot of work either. So I do
you do a lot. You do a lot of work. That's
I
why
do
you
a lot
don't
of
do a
work.
monthly show. That's why
Yes.
you do. I was like, no. That's incorrect. That's false misinformation. You do a lot of work.
I work.
The most work, actually.
Yes. So I worked out. So anyway,
There you go.
Thinking about, we're out. Thank you for everybody. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
Sweet.